The July 4th sale continues at Premier Heating and Air. Get a free programmable Wi-Fi thermostat with the purchase of any new heating and air conditioning system, with payments starting as low as $89 a month. Call Premier Heating and Air today at any of our convenient locations. This offer absolutely ends July 31st. And remember, less than perfect credit is no problem with Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
Welcome everybody. I'm glad to have with me today our brand new Superior Court judge, hot off the press late yesterday. I guess I got a text about 7:15, but first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Very excited about the opportunity to serve our community. So,
first of all, you've fallen a wonderful man, a great man. And due diligence here, let everybody know, be totally transparent. He's been a friend of my family for a long time, so I am biased, but he is a great man. Donnie Gillis was a wonderful judge, great lawyer. I know you've known him for years, but he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Judge Gillis leaves a tremendous legacy on the bench here in the Dublin Judicial Circuit and in our legal community. He was sitting as a Superior Court judge when I was sworn into the bar, and has been there ever since, just until recently when he retired. So I've learned a lot from him over the last 13, 14 years, and just been able to watch and observe, and really just a tremendous guy, and just I hope that my service would be an honor to the legacy that he leaves behind, and the work that he's done here.
So when do you start? First of all, let's start there.
A lot of that's still up in the air. Yesterday afternoon when I had some conversations with some folks in the governor's office, I was just kind of put on notice that I should be hearing from them. So I assume sooner rather than later. And of course, there's things that have to be done on my end. I've got to wind down my practice and notify my clients, and I've got some things on my calendar already that probably need to be handled. But I'm really just at the governor's beck and call. I'm going to follow their lead and do what they say, and whatever they ask of me will be what I do. I know that our judges are eager to kind of get some help in there, so we keeping that in consideration too. But really just following the governor's lead on this.
So you had to go through an interview process. There was about 5 people originally, narrowed it down to 2. Y'all went in, did an interview. What was that like? What was the interview process like?
Yeah, there were a lot of great folks that interviewed for this position, a lot of stiff competition, and certainly appreciate those people who offered their names for service to this position. It's a very rugged process. The application that the Judicial Nominating Commission asks you to prepare is very lengthy, and it requires you to kind of dig back into the history of your practice and provide them with a lot of information, not only about yourself personally, but about your practice and the things that you've done and been through and accomplished over the course of your career thus far. So that, once that was completed, the Judicial Nominating Commission, the JNC, issued a short list that was sent to Governor Kemp's office for consideration. And then there were some additional requirements that the governor's office put out there that they asked us to kind of go through, and I did that process. I was happy to go through and do whatever requirements they asked of me. But we had an interview with the governor, I think, probably about a month ago now. And of course, summertime's busy. He's traveling. He's got professional obligations as well as the rest of us. And so they've had a very busy summer. But now we have the decision, and so we're just ready to get to work.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back right after this.
David sells cars well at Dublin Nissan.
Scott sells cars well at Dublin Nissan.
Dylan sells cars well at Dublin Nissan.
We do cars well every day at Dublin Nissan.
Hi, I'm Meg Greer Evans with Middle Georgia Estate Planning here in Dublin, Georgia. At Middle Georgia Estate Planning, we focus on estate planning, which covers the creation of wills, powers of attorney, and healthcare directives, as well as the creation of revocable or irrevocable trusts. We also specialize in elder law and can assist with guardianships and conservatorships, as well as asset protection for those that are looking to their elder years in life and wondering how they'll plan for their care. If you have any questions about estate planning or elder law, or how you can protect your assets for your care and the future of your family, give us a call at 478-272-2885.
Welcome back, everybody. Continue my conversation with Trey Taylor, our new Superior Court judge as of this week. And if you just joined us, we'll air this program again. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and just type in TV35. I want to thank y'all for watching us there. I was looking the other day, in the last 12 months, we've had about 4 million people visit our YouTube channel. People watch TV on the go. Your generation watch it on the go. My people, we still watch me and your dad, we still watch the TV and hold the newspaper in our hand, you know.
That's right.
But anyway, what do you see? I know you've thought a lot about this, and you talked about the interview process. What is your plans? What is your vision for this very important seat that you're going to occupy?
Yeah, I think it's just for things to run smoothly, right? For the process to work like it needs to, and for litigants, whether they be civil litigants or criminal defendants in the state of Georgia, by and through its attorneys, just for things to move efficiently through the system, for cases to be processed quickly, and for folks to have justice, to have their day in court and to be heard. For my role, what I intend to do is, treat people fairly, courteously, and just try to be efficient. Yeah. That's what I've done in my private practice, and that's the attitude and approach that I'm going to bring to the bench into my office at the courthouse. I think that the staff and the people that work together in the courthouse, I think they all get along. I think there's a good camaraderie up there, and they all work together for a greater good. Yep. And I think I'm going to plug right into that system and just kind of carry on again the legacy that Judge Gillis has had. I think it's going to be a smooth transition. I think we've got some good people in place, and later this week I'll be having some discussions with folks about how to make that process transition smoothly when we get to that point. Yeah. Right, and we don't know when that's going to be, but at some point, these matters are things that we're going to have to address. So we're just going to go ahead and start working. And
part of that process, a lot of people don't realize. I want to point it out today, but Jackie Dalton, she's incredible. Yeah. She's the glue that holds it all together. That office, and not just Jackie, but her. I mean, she's the leader, but. Those girls and those guys, mostly women, but they are incredible. They show up every day. They get it done. They keep the calendar moving. They make sure the jurors are in and out and picked, and it moves smoothly. But Jackie does an excellent job.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Before our interview here this morning, I was down at the courthouse observing, and just to see the ease with which Miss Dalton is able to do her job is incredible. Her staff, they're very attentive. They're so helpful. They're always trying to make people's trips to the courthouse or people who they encounter on the telephone pleasant. They try to get you in and out of there, and for their part, they're trying to be efficient and to provide good customer service to the community, because ultimately those are the folks we work for, is the people that are coming into the courthouse every day, and her staff just does a terrific job of making all those parts kind of move together, because it is a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think they do a fantastic job of making that work well.
Well, I grew up, we had one judge, Judge Townsend. He ran it, and he ran it, and he ran it. You better not show up in his courtroom not dressed properly. Jurors, whoever, he'd send you home. And there wasn't many continuances. You had trial, or you come to arbitration or whatever you had to do, but Judge Townsend was incredible. Now we have 3 judges, and I can see the day soon, based on the 2020 census, we've grown to, it was 49,500 and something, and right now we're over 50,000. Right. So we're a growing community. We had lost some in the 2010 because of factories closing or whatever, but we're green and we're growing. So I can see that one day adding another judge, but Judge Green, Judge Helton, so that's got to be a plus coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. They've both been on the bench for a number of years and been able to observe how they handle their courtrooms. I've already had discussions with them, late yesterday afternoon and again earlier this morning about how do I get plugged in to sort of the rhythm of what's happening in the courtroom and in the courthouse, and I think my personalities and their personalities, I think, will work very well together. They've both been very gracious, as have their judicial assistants, and the other folks that are on staff with the Superior Courts have been very gracious, and I think they're going to be able to help me get plugged in and start working efficiently very, very soon. We're going to hit the ground running.
Well, you're going to have to hit the ground running because you got all that you're talking about, plus you're going to have to run for re-election next time as the incumbent, right?
That's correct. As things sit right now, there will be an election that's scheduled in May of 2024, so that's coming very quickly. So I'm going to have to get to work on 2 fronts, and certainly prepared to do that, and knew that going in. So I'm just trying to get my feet wet on one front and start working on the other as well. So.
Well, it's a nonpartisan, right?
That's correct. It's a nonpartisan ballot, right?
Yeah, and I think it should be.
Absolutely.
I even think some other things should be on a local level. It's just, it's local problems, local elections, and the Superior Court judge is one of those. Even though a lot of people don't realize that, they get to the ballot and they see the judge is on here. Yeah. You would think, because federal judges and all, it's a lifetime thing. So, but it's totally different on the local level. And it's probably too soon, but you're gonna have multi-staffs. You got to have some working on the re-election, and then you got to have some. You got to have a staff that's making the parts move within your inner office in the courthouse.
Right, yeah, and those are, completely separate functions, and as well they should be, right? Yeah. And so I think as far as courthouse staff, I think we've got some good folks in place who are interested in staying on and continuing the roles that they have previously served in. Again, I think that's something that's going to make the transition into this new role very easy from my standpoint. Maybe not easy, maybe that's not the right word, but to make things work smoothly, right? As far as campaign goes and that side of the coin, I think we got some people in place. We've already talked to some folks and in anticipation of what could have happened and did eventually happen. So I think we'll be able to hit the ground running with that. But again, those are absolutely 2 separate functions, and we're going to kind of be working on 2 different fronts for quite a while here. So,
first of all, you come from good stock.
Well, thank you.
You was raised right. Might not have, none of us always done right, but we had no excuse.
Right.
I've never been before a judge, but I always said I couldn't get up there and say I wasn't raised better.
Yeah.
So I thank God that I've never had to be in that situation. But knowing your dad and knowing how you were raised right. But my question in saying that is, what has prepared you for this role?
My years of law practice, I've been exposed to a lot of different things, James, and that's to my benefit. Obviously, I've not been pigeonholed into one area of the law or the other. I've handled all types of cases, the types of things that are routinely coming before our superior courts. I've handled those types of cases, and I've done it quickly, efficiently, and cost effectively for my clients, and I think I can bring that same approach to helping resolve matters as the neutral. fail as the judge. I think a lot of it is just good common sense and being able to be fair and to remain impartial and not allow your personal feelings to be injected into a decision. And again, that's what I'm trying and will bring to the bench. I'm fair. I can make a decision. I can listen. It may be my job to sentence folks according to the law when laws have been broken or when the law doesn't operate in their favor. But I think I can do so in a way that acknowledges the dignity of everybody, right? Not only the criminal defendant, but the victim, right? The family of the victim. And that's the kind of approach that I want to bring to the bench, is just making sure that everybody feels heard, that everybody has their day in court. But in the end, we're going to follow the law and justice is going to be served.
Yeah, and see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, you have decisions to make, but you also have guidelines under the law that the legislature and the governor that appointed you has passed.
Absolutely, absolutely. The law is the law, and it'll be enforced, right?
Yeah.
Without favor or fear to anyone. We often hear that fear or favor, and absolutely, that is the philosophy that I'm going to adopt in my courtroom, is to enforce the law.
Yeah, and you mentioned a wide array of cases. I've been in your office, and I've seen the files that you're working on at one time. It looks like Ben Matlock's desk. Yeah. Ben always Andy Griffith worked on a lot of cases. Of course, you're a real lawyer. You don't play one on TV, but
I don't get paid that well.
Yeah, but it's an honorable position.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a job. I do think it's an honorable position that I know you, and I know you use that word fair, but just. And that picture, I always see it. I'm not a lawyer, but Lady Justice is blindfolded. Absolutely. Justice should be blind, rich or poor, homeless or not, justice should be blind.
Absolutely, without a doubt. That is the type of judicial philosophy that I think has just sort of come through in the way that I've handled things in the past, and it certainly will be the way that I handle things on the bench. And my desk is messy. I got a lot of open files.
I didn't say messy.
Yeah. Well, let's just be honest. In all candor, right? And things are stacked up in the corner. And I've been very fortunate over the course of my private practice to be trusted by a lot of folks in our community who've trusted me with some very important matters, and I can't say how much I appreciate that. But I'm going to take that same work ethic and attitude with me to the courthouse and into the courtroom, and I think I'm going to do a good job for the citizens of our community.
So what will you do when one of the many clients maybe have to come up before you?
Well, there are rules set in place for how those matters should be handled, and I absolutely intend to follow those rules, canons, and of judicial conduct and ethics and how those things should be handled. And I'm just going to resolve it pursuant to the rules, right? In no way or under no circumstances would I ever want anybody to feel that I have been swayed or being partial to anyone just because I perhaps have represented them in the past, right?
Well, you got other judges to fall back on.
That's right.
If there's a conflict.
Right, and both of our sitting judges have all been in private practice before, so they realize that is something that eventually will come up and is going to have to be handled. And I think that in the past when I've seen that happen, it's happened to some of my clients, right? And I think that our judges have always handled that in an appropriate manner and never had a complaint about the way that's handled, and that's the way I'll handle it, right?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take one more break. We'll come back and wrap things up.
Hey, I'm Heather Harrison.
And I'm Kim Bracewell.
And I've been a member of Fairview Fitness Center for 10 years.
And I've been a member for over 20 years.
We love taking the strength training class here. The energy from the teachers is just fantastic.
And also, I play racquetball and would love to have you come play racquetball with us.
So come join us at Fairview Fitness Center.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank, big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap things up. Just to kind of recap, you got to kind of wait on your marching orders from the governor to when you get started. You got a good staff in place. Donnie run a tight ship. Absolutely. Judge Gillis run a tight ship. So you're going in with some things on your side already, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel good about what's been in place since Judge Gillis has already entered retirement. Those folks have kept things going. They've kept the ship steering in the right direction, and so I feel good about what's in place thus far. And I think I'm going to be able to move right into that position and kind of help lead folks in the right direction.
Well, I asked you a while ago what prepared you for this. The only thing we didn't talk about, you didn't leave it out on purpose, but your schooling. Share with people where you went to school, law school.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Dublin, and graduated from West Lawrence High School in 2000. Went from there to the University of Georgia and did my undergraduate schooling there. I had some tragedy in my life that kind of slowed down my progress, so I ended up getting my undergraduate degree completed in 5 years versus the normal 4, but it was completely understandable, I think, under the circumstances that my family had to go through during that time. But went from there and worked in the Atlanta area for a little while and kind of experienced a few different things. Worked in the financial services industry for a very short period of time. Worked, for some, I guess not politicians, maybe that's not the right word, but some public servants. Worked for the General Assembly and just kind of got interested in that realm of things. Decided that ultimately what I wanted to do was to come back to my home community and to be a part of it and to contribute and to give back, right, to the local folks. And so that, of course, led me to law school in Birmingham, Alabama. I went to the Cumberland School of Law, which is, of course, at Sanford University there in Birmingham. And during that period of time, I married my wife, who's from the Sandy Springs area up in Atlanta, and we decided that ultimately Dublin would be our home and where we would raise our children. And all of our kids attend public schools here in Lawrence County at Northwest Lawrence. We live out in Dudley and attend church there. Just we're a part of this community. I'm a member of the Rotary Club and have been pretty much since I came back. We volunteer at church, we teach Sunday school and involved in all those kinds of activities. And so, just glad to have Dublin, be our home in the community where we live, work, and raise our family.
Yeah, you do. A few times I've talked to you, dropping kids off, picking kids up, got kids in the car, you having to give them their marching orders. So,
we're absolutely busy, and summer, believe it or not, James, is even I believe more busy than school, because they're not at school for 8 hours a day.
Got to keep them occupied.
That's right. Got to find something to do with them.
Okay, well, Trey, I know we started out this way, we're going to end this way, but it's a great honor. I know it is for you, it is for this community, and you have. You've come back here and been a big part of you've been a part of the solutions instead of the problems.
Well, thank you for saying that. I am humbled and excited about this opportunity to serve in this role and to serve our community and the court system. People who don't deal with it on an everyday basis just don't realize how important our court system, the rule of law is, and without it all, our society just wouldn't function. And so to be such an integral part of that, I am just beyond honored and humbled, and look forward to the opportunity to serve. I appreciate the confidence that the governor has placed in me by appointing me to this position, and I hope that I can earn the respect and earn the right to continue to serve in this position.
Well, he didn't get as popular as he is by making bad decisions.
Right.
So.
I completely agree with you, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trey, so much for joining us today. And thank you, wherever you're watching us at, however you're watching us, thank you for joining us today on TV 35.